Joining me today to discuss industrial cybersecurity is Chris Grove, Director of Cybersecurity Strategy at Nozomi Networks. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you, Sid, for having us.
There's a lot of aspects to industrial cybersecurity, and I always try to help people understand where different companies fit. So can you kind of explain where Nozomi Networks fits into that mold, what the functionality you provide and so on?
Sure. The marketplace can be confusing with all the products sort of sounding the same and a lot of the same buzzwords. So indeed, that is actually a challenge that we face in the marketplace. Customers don't always know what to choose. And so what we do is we were born on the ICS industrial control system side in very large scale environments. And our first few customers were large scale. So we built that into our DNA. And what we do is monitor industrial control systems and IoT networks for cyber attacks. We monitor them for anomalies, as well as suggest hardening procedures. We have a variety of different features within our product that help customers to harden their industrial control system environments.
One thing our research at ARC tends to show is that companies struggle to maintain their cybersecurity. Is this something that you find as well? And if so, what can they do about it? What can Nozomi do to help them with it?
Yeah, it's a very complex problem to try to tackle. Not only the adversaries more advanced and getting more advanced as we proceed and build our defenses, but the target that we're trying to defend is also getting bigger and more complex. We're seeing after COVID, the data and the wannabe air gap and the firewalls have sort of become a lot more porous. The data has moved out of these protected facilities and is a little bit more spread out. So what we have to protect is a lot bigger and more complex. And the products that the customers are trying to roll out and use do end up becoming sometimes their own entity to have to try to manage. And what we've done, especially in the past year, is simplified this for a lot of customers. We've added this cloud overlay that automates everything under the hood for customers. So they can go to an unlimited number of assets, up to 4 tiers of architecture, very flexible ways to deploy stuff, just like before. But now we've automated everything from the licensing to the updates to the threat intelligence feeds. So customer pretty much, what we're doing differently now is making that much more streamlined and efficient for customers to operate, which is sort of another tier. If a few years ago when we first started talking and coming to the space, a lot of customers didn't really understand what the technologies offered, and we were more in an educational mode. We were helping customers determine what the different products do, and then we started coming to meetings, and they already knew what we all did. They had a list of questions that they wanted us to go through, and they were more concerned about the pricing of it. Now things are a little bit different. They want to get these projects done as fast as they can. We have customers calling up, accelerating projects by 50%, also telling us, this is my problem, how much is it going to cost me to fix it, and can you start yesterday? So the challenge has become not only more complex, but faster and developing at a much more rapid pace than previous years.
Another thing that we see a lot is companies are starting to drive or trying to drive the convergence between their IT and OT cybersecurity programs. How can Nozomi help with that? If so, I assume you can. So how would you do that?
Yeah, indeed. In the early years, at least for me personally, when I would go out to some of these sites and work with customers, and many times it was the first time that the IT cybersecurity person had met anyone from the OT side. They didn't know where the plant was. The OT engineer didn't really know where the data center was, and they had never met before. Today, that's quite different, especially for companies that have gone through a convergence. They're working together as a team now, and our product helps to get them both on the same page, looking at the same console, using a common set of languages to talk about the assets and the problem. So we can match up IT cybersecurity relevant information with OT cybersecurity relevant information. And we will bring them both in the room, and we'll work throughout the whole day getting everyone excited about what they see on the screen, even though they have never met before. It's very exciting to do. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. Another thing that we see is the disruptive technologies. There's all kinds of new technologies being introduced. So I'm just wondering which technologies you're finding are the most disruptive for cybersecurity, and what can you do about it?
I would say cloud right now. It already did its disruption on the IT side, and it has really yet to pierce the OT side. And I think that there's going to be different degrees of adoption, Today, there's a little bit of reluctance to move industrial control system traffic to the cloud. And a lot of people think, I'm not going to let the cloud control my PLC. That's an extreme degree of adoption. In between, we have companies that are just moving their historian up to the cloud to store the data, or they're leveraging the cloud for maybe our product. We're just doing maybe threat intelligence feeds from there, or we're hosting data there. But the customer doesn't really have to move their operations to the cloud in order to start getting the benefit from the cloud and starting to use it piecemeal within the system without moving everything out. So I think that there's a long way to go and a lot of disruption that is yet to happen from cloud computing in industrial control systems.
Well, another thing that we see too is this shift to different ways that people want to consume the product. And when I say consume, I mean pay for the product. What are you seeing with respect to that, and what kind of things are people doing, and what can Nozomi do?
Yes. So initially, a few years ago, everything was on-prem, behind air gaps, and people wanted to buy stuff and own it, and just like typical operational technologies, you would buy it and run it as a capex. And now the model has changed. On the IT side, people are very familiar with buying subscriptions for things like Office 365 is only sold like that now. And there's a lot of products out there that are only sold by subscription. So we've seen a major shift in the marketplace with our customers asking to buy subscription. And we've converted almost entirely, but we're working towards 100%, but it's going to be a while before we get there. But we are working towards a complete subscription model basis.
And another aspect of business, from a business perspective, is cybersecurity is partnerships. Yes. And can you comment on Nozomi's approach to that and how you work with partners and form partnerships and things?
Sure. So if you take a look at our website, we have probably one of the most partner-rich ecosystems out there. We integrate with a lot of products and do a lot of things. When we first started integrating with these products, we pushed a lot of data out of our product to theirs to make their products better, which was actually the opposite approach of many other products in the marketplace. They were more trying to capture the audience and capture the customer into their products so that they can own the value that's being derived. But we've taken the opposite approach from the beginning, and we know cybersecurity is a team sport, and we can't do it alone. So we have always taken the perspective that the data in our product is valuable, and we want everyone else to be able to see it and have it. So we've always pushed from the beginning. Lately, we've done a lot more pooling and more bi-directional partnerships and technology integrations with some of these other products. So that's changed in the past couple of years, but also the go-to-market partners, the ones that are going to help the customers deploy the product, use it, sustain it, and work through problems, Those are more valuable today than they were before. Years ago, it was hard to find a partner that knew how to run a cybersecurity product on the OT side. But today, we've got a lot of them that are trained. I mean, our company has over 1,000 trained engineers alone with our product. Other companies have similar numbers. So you can get a lot of people out there to help out, and a lot of companies that have staff on hand that can operate and help sustain the technologies.
Okay, just one last question, just briefly, very briefly. With respect to, what do you see in the market with respect to headwinds and tailwinds? For the market development.
Indeed. So tailwinds, I think you can just turn the news on, and in 15 minutes, you'll catch 2 or 3 different tailwinds there. So everything from ransomware attacks to the economy being bad and inspiring insiders to do bad things. That's always a problem. But the nation state angle has definitely gotten a lot hotter the past couple of years. People think about the Russia-Ukraine angle and how Russia may hit us here. But under the surface, there's a whole nother thing happening, which is the sub-nation state level attackers. It's the NB65s, Anonymous, the IT Army of Ukraine, and all the regular citizens around the world that are picking up arms and joining the cyber war and doing things, blowing things up in Russia that they would have never done before the invasion of Ukraine. That has changed the cyberspace in a way that I don't think we really fully understand yet. When this turmoil is over in Ukraine, are those people going to go back to being regular people and not doing bad things anymore? Or are they going to continue those types of activities? So I think we have to wait and see for that one.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Chris. We've been speaking with Chris Grove, Director of Cybersecurity Strategy at Nozomi Networks. Thank you for watching.